Okay, so this is my third attempt, and you guys are probably wondering when is this guy gonna stop being a retard and actually get it right? Because last time it kind of ended abruptly. Like I've only just realized that YouTube only allows you to record for about 10 minutes, so apologies for that. Today's been an interesting day. I woke up with a different hairstyle, as you might notice. The afro's gone, the hair's straightened, and usually, like in Nigeria, I'd usually get a bit of trouble, I guess, for this kind of hairstyle. I remember a particular incident when I was in a salon. My cousin had taken me to get my hair done. I was getting braids, and in Nigeria, it's a thing where if a guy gets braids, it's stigmatized. It's not done, if you know what I mean. So he gets all kinds of strange looks, that sort of thing. It's not as liberal as the States and Europe, where it seems to be like a normal thing. So this was like a huge step in like an expression type thing, from my part, not deliberately, but to everyone else. So I got to this salon, and my hair was getting braided. It was by a guy. For the first time, I was getting my hair braided by a guy, which again was another interesting twist to the story, because generally speaking, it's a woman that braids her hair and everything. I got into the salon and I got all sorts of strange looks from these women. So like, who's this guy? Sort of thing. What's he doing here? Type thing. Sat down, got my hair braided, and these little kids came in. They must have been about what, 2 feet tall, really short little people, and they were running around and everything. And then this little girl just stopped and looked at me, and I could see her like from the reflection in the mirror, and she had the most horrid expression on her face, and she was like with a group of other little kids, and then she gathered them together and she was like, "Look, a man is plaiting his hair like a woman." And they all sort of just hushed and looked. And then the response was, "Woman man, woman man." And I was there trying not to cringe, but it was quite a funny incident, and it just goes to show how the media has sort of channeled the way we think. Um, the thing is, it's a perception that boys and girls are a certain way. A guy plays with toys, he plays with guns, train sets, does sports, etc. Girl plays with Barbie dolls, likes handbags, makeup, that sort of thing. So if you have a guy that's interested in makeup, or you have a guy that's interested in fashion or hair or that sort of thing, there's a question mark as to what his sexuality is. Is he straight? Is he gay? What's going on here, type thing. It's almost like you're stigmatized simply because of the stuff that you choose to like. And it's really interesting how that is. It shows us just how cultivated our thoughts are, because it's something that we got from our parents. Our parents, as a child, I got like balls and toys and action figures and so on. When I get older, if I have kids, I mean, I have a daughter now, and the type of toys I find myself buying are, well, generally speaking, educational stuff. But subconsciously, you think, okay, I'm going to get something pink as opposed to something blue. And to what extent does this control have over us, like today in society? And it's one of those things that when you sit down and think about it, like think of films, for example. Like you're presented with a film where there's some guys that want to rob a bank. Yeah. Now, stealing is wrong. We know this. Well, we know this. Stealing is wrong. But somehow, from the direction of the movie, you're almost on the side of the thief. And the entire time you're watching the film, you don't want the guy to get caught. You're hoping that your all of your emotions are attached to these thieves who are essentially robbing a bank. Like a classic example is Harry Potter. Where the entire thing is about witches. Yeah. And if one knows anything about witches, one assumes that a witch is evil, just with the whole context of a wizard, witch, etc. But by presenting a framework where there's a set of witches, but then there's some good witches and then some bad witches, you sort of forget the fact that, hang on, they're all witches. So it has like a slow customization that just soothes you into what they want you to think and what they want you to feel, etc. And if you think about it, like, okay, back in the old days, yeah, when we're talking like issues of power, uh, I don't know, some big guy, Saddam Hussein or whoever, is like running a massive army, etc., controlling people by force, getting them to do this, do that, blah blah blah. But now we have all these people fighting for human rights and blah blah blah. I don't know how successful it is, but the thing is, the people in power have realized that they can no longer force people into doing things. Not really, without some kind of intervention or someone making an outcry or something. The world has become too democratic for that. But the thing is, they still haven't let go of the power. They've just found a more subtle way of doing things. So now they're controlling us with our own consent. There's like one guy that owns like five media stations, CNN, BBC, and everything. So it's like, if you think about it, this one guy can literally determine the news that you hear around the world. I mean, is it any wonder that, for example, the news that we hear is only related to like celebrity gossip or bad stuff, etc. You don't hear any random stuff about some random person because it wouldn't make a difference. It wouldn't sell papers. You wouldn't tune on to see it because they're attaching things to our emotions, so they know that okay, they will like this. This will entertain them, etc. So it has a way of pulling you in. So it's just like within this type of context of like doing a podcast like this, for example, because it's a media thing and you can see a face, etc. If I started off by doing something entertaining or weird or something, it's likely to pull you in, and then I can sneak in something serious, and then you wouldn't realize that you're actually learning something. It's the same kind of psychology that people in media use because that's the way they can get you to see things a certain way without you being too against it, too thinking that it's too controversial. So when you have things that are of this nature, it becomes something that one needs to pay attention to constantly look behind what we're being presented. Because for example, we've just got a first black president, etc. I saw this film, The Obama Deception. You should look it up. It's quite interesting or enlightening in some way. There's one particular statement that KRS-One made that I found quite interesting. He says the whole country is in anarchy, blah blah blah, economic recession, blah blah blah. And then all of a sudden, they throw up this black guy, and then the whole world is sort of like this, just chilling because it's something so surprising. So it's almost like he's the perfect guy that just threw up someone that was just, whoa, okay, we can't really question. Hang on, he's cool. You just have no response to that sort of thing. And if you think about the possibility of the fact that he is someone that's being controlled, I mean, it's not something that is so overly far-fetched because people that have money, generally speaking, roll around in the same circles. I mean, I live in quite a nice house with some friends, but I doubt Obama's going to come and kick it with me for some time, without the entire street being closed off, if you know what I mean. So you feel more comfortable with someone who lived in a house that was like a country, you know what I mean? Because he's you would feel in like surroundings that he's comfortable in, etc. You won't think the other person is after his money, blah blah blah. This is just a side concept, and I'm trying to relate it to the fact that the people in power share power, and they come up with new ways to use the power against us without us realizing it. So you can have a thing where they say, okay, we should get I don't know, identity imprints on our fingers, etc. So if we're going through doors, blah blah blah, we can always know where we are, etc. And then when you try to work out the reasoning behind it, and they tell you all sorts of benefits in it, etc. But it could also be a form of knowing where everyone is and being able to place everyone in particular places, etc. It's like it's a slow taking over, and they are presenting it as a framework of like security. Okay, I don't know why I was just feeling like extremely controversial today or whatever, but I guess it's because of the hairstyle and everything that relates to it, because it's something that is so stigmatized where I come from, and it's like it's just hair. Have I become a completely different person because I like to braid my hair, or because I find it more interesting to do that? I can experiment and play around with it. When I get bored with it, I cut it off. I grow it again, etc. It's something that is not an issue to me, but when I am confronted with people in society, I mean, if I go and I'm going to get a job interview because of my hair, that would already place me as okay. So this boy, you want to come and work inside this kind of place with this your afro? Go and cut your hair, my friend. What kind of nonsense? Did your father allow you to come out of your house with that kind of hair? And when you think about the presentation and that kind of forceful attack just on the basis of a hairstyle, you really start to wonder what exactly is it that people see when they see you? Are they seeing you? Or are they just seeing something that is there? We'll never know, I guess. I'll be back some other time.